Speaking of an MVP who has fallen down the big board, Aaron Rodgers, currently your quarterback 15. Now, this is a guy who I forget his exact stats, but wasn't he like 39-4 or something? Touchdowns, interceptions last year, something crazy like that.
Insane.
Yeah, insane. I mean, I feel like he put up maybe single-digit points in the playoffs. I'm not sure.
Pathetic.
Anyway, the Packers have tons of air yards available. I think they're number 2 according to your numbers. And who's Rodgers' number 1 going to be? That's the big thing. Obviously, Davante Adams has left town. They still got Allen Lazard on the roster. They have the least sexy man in football, Randall Cobb. And then Sammy Watkins and then Christian Watson. Big question mark, right? What do you think?
Yeah, it's so tough to know who's going to be at the top of the depth chart. Let's start with Rodgers and the thing we know. I as you mentioned, big faller, goes from QB 7 to me to QB 15 without Davante Adams. If you look at the splits, he's weirdly like just as good without Adams over the last like 10 games together. But I don't know. Maybe Rodgers is just that good. Maybe he is, and maybe he can be that good with this core. But I don't know if I buy that because he also lost to MVS. He's lost, not that MVS is this world beater that I love.
No, but he's a legit NFL receiver.
He is, exactly. And now you mentioned that depth chart. Who's going to be the top of it? So Rodgers has been relying on this insane efficiency because he's only thrown the 16th, 24th, and 15th most passes. It's not a very pass-happy attack. LaFleur he's part of that McVay system of establishing the run to then marry that in the pass game and have great play action. And Rodgers is incredible at all of it. But I don't buy that he can be this clear-cut top 10 guy when his number 1, we have no idea who it's going to be. My guess is Allen Lazard. Let's talk about who it could be. I think it's Allen Lazard. He had a great finish to last year. Davante Adams was the number 2 receiver down the stretch in fantasy for those last 5 games. Allen Lazard was number 8. So he had a great finish to last season. He caught 5 touchdowns across his last 5 weeks, racked up 21 catches, 28 targets, 290 yards. If you pace that out for a full season, 71 catches, 986 yards, and 17 touchdown pace. Now, we know the touchdowns. He's not going to catch 17 touchdowns. That's going to come back down to earth, but he has been a great touchdown scorer with Aaron Rodgers. Most importantly to me, he is the most athletic guy that also still has Aaron Rodgers' trust. Like, that is one of the hardest things to earn. Should Christian Watson, by a physical profile, should be the clear number 1, definitely the most physically gifted receiver in this room. But getting Rodgers' trust is crucial. And so even though, according to Scott Barrett, one of my favorite analysts out there, Christian Watson, 19th most athletic receiver he's graded since 2000. Great endorsement. Love it. Love what he brings to the table at 6'3", running a absurd 4.36 40, 96th percentile, 119 speed score, 98th percentile, 97th percentile catch radius, 93rd percentile burst score. Like all the measurables with Christian Watson are through the roof. And if it translates with him, I mean, he could blow up. We've seen rookies just go nuts the last 2 seasons. So maybe he could be the next Jefferson or the next Jamar Chase, but he's coming from a non-Power 5 school, which I always, the upgrading competition level is so fierce when you're not coming from an Alabama or one of these, the teams that are just grinding against these NFL ready talents already. So I could see that being a big concern. And everyone just talked about how he's a bit raw with his routes. And just in general as a wide receiver. And that's not going to go over well with Rodgers if that ends up being true. So he's the first receiver I'll draft. I'll draft Christian Watson even ahead of Lazard, even though I said I like Lazard the most, just because the raw ceiling is a
You're an upside guy. You've always been an upside guy.
You have to be, right? You have to be. If you're I'm not trying to finish 3rd in fantasy. I want to win my league.
Right.
That's the type of guy.
I want to finish just above like the middle.
Exactly. Yeah, right. Nice, steady. Right. Perfectly in the middle of the deck. No, I want number 1, and Christian Watson's the type of guy that could win a league. I really do think Lazard could also potentially win a league if he does emerge as that clear-cut number 1. I'll tell you who I don't think it's going to be.
Somebody is going to pop in that offense. And also, by the way, you have Rodgers as your quarterback 15, and I think just based on like his proven production year after year, that's too low. I see why you're saying it. But I will also say there's no way in the world he's going to be the 15th quarterback left on the board in any draft.
No, he won't. Nope. It's me. It's kind of like Lamar Jackson. He won't be the 9th. I won't have either of those guys on my team. They're 2 of the guys I'm much lower on than anyone else. So I'm not buying Sammy Watkins at all. If I'm going down the list, Amari Rodgers, their 3rd round pick last year, maybe. We'll talk about Aaron Jones when we go backfields. I think he's by far the biggest sneaky winner. I think his offense is just going to run through him. He's going to be kind of like the Aaron Rodgers is Kamara in Green Bay. We'll talk about him on another day. But the last name, you mentioned the unsexiest guy in football, but
he's so unsexy.
Love taking him in the last round, round 20 of a best ball draft.
Best ball. It's got to be best ball, though.
Oh, yeah, because he's not a guy I'm ever going to want to try to predict when he's going to go off or not. But in terms of chemistry, he's the veteran. And they're already talking about, Rodgers already praising him for the locker room presence and him taking these rookies under their wings. And he's the guy that Rodgers trusts. Like, Rodgers is raving about Cobb, even though he is, 75 years old at this point? I have no idea. His 11th NFL season, I'm pretty sure at this point.
Doesn't everything that Rodgers says just seem so disingenuous to you, though?
Oh, always.
I agree with most of these things you're saying about Cobb. I'm sure he has a veteran presence, all that stuff. But I just think everything Rodgers says is so self-serving and trying to play these stupid mind games with the media or everybody else. Just I'm not interested in anything he's saying, and I don't take anything he's saying seriously. And it took me a long time to get to that with him because he's such a talent. But I
hate him.
He's a pain in the ass.
I do think Cobb, last round type of dart throw, he's
sure.
He had a couple 20-point games last year with Adams there. So now without Adams, I think we get maybe 4 20-point spike weeks. And I agree. That's going to get in your lineup.
But like I said, only best ball though, because otherwise I don't want to even take up a roster spot with him.
Yeah.
Too unsexy.
What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.